When it comes to the question of euthanasia, do we want to put someone out of their misery or out of ours, out of sight, out of mind? Is it like any prejudice as with earlier centuries, wealthier classes, avoiding the poor because of their filth and squalor? Whose life is it anyway, to make that choice? Children need adults to make choices for them, to keep them alive and well, but are we saying that we have the same right to choose for the elderly and the sick? How can conditions that lead to death be investigated and learned about, in order to overcome these difficulties, if society overrides parental consent as in the court cases of babies Charlie Gard and Alfie Evans amongst others? We simply don't know until we explore possibilities, what we are capable of. Think of the people who would be dead today, if not for medical research being given full rein. Do soldiers have the right to kill others? No, but they have the ability to. You can only learn about living processes from living beings. Kill or let such people die, and that stops advancement of knowledge likewise, so the condition remains an eternal problem, an eternal unknown. Science is about finding out the mechanics of reality, and that includes human life. It is about observing reality, even our own death and decay, our own mortality. Negative emotion wallows in self-pity over loss of possessions, relationships, physical abilities, mental faculties, etc., as positive emotion relishes the exploration of any event in its life, be it comedy or drama. Bullying is imposing your will, your belief system on others. Free will, on the other hand, is about allowing individuals to make up their own minds on any subject. Cassius argued in Julius Caesar that it is better to kill somebody because it relieves them of the suffering of being alive. If we follow that line, then every sick child or troublesome older person should be put to death, to stop them being a burden on the rest of society. All hospital patients should be put to death along with the disabled. Then let's get rid of the gays, colored people, ethnic minorities, etc., because nobody is perfect. Yes, this is the slippery slope that leads to fascism or diminishing returns, where the world shrinks in persecution of the different. Nobody has to help anybody else or even themselves, but that is the lazy and cowardly way out. Give up, kill hope, stop all effort to survive, learn and grow as individuals or a society. Science and civilization is driven by effort and the desire to know the truth about anything and everything. We stagnate when we hide. Pride is saying this is who I am, take it or leave it. Shame and guilt are options where you allow yourself to be maneuvered by others and regret it afterwards, also known as conscience. Better to be long-suffering than short-tempered and live to regret it. Life is persistence, death of mind, body and spirit is giving up all effort. However, reality is acceptance of your current state and abilities, as delusion is the refusal to see what you're presently capable of. Death is dissolution of our civilization and our individual rights. It is why Brexit is leading to the resurgence of racism, through separatism. Tolerance and patience builds physically and mentally, as impatience and intolerance destroys. All negativity is avoidance of responsibility, whether by word, excuse, or action, backing away. Optimism keeps us going forward, as pessimism stops us in our tracks without trying anything new. Is our current world state telling us that this is the end for the world in its present form, or can we rise to the challenge by going one more step into the future, one more step up the mountain, to a summit not reached yet because we cannot see it yet? Arrival anywhere is characterized by slowing down and settling because you feel you have all the time in the world, as departure is by speeding up, panic, fear of not having enough time to sort things out before you leave. The first state creates order and clarity, the second state, chaos and confusion, setting in or moving out, that is the vacuum confusion, settling in or moving out, effect, sucking in or blowing out experiences, memories, or as the Hindus would have it, the universe breathing, that is the displacement by the new inhabitants, leads to resentment by the old ones and conflict between the two. This doesn't matter if it is from within your own planetary borders or invaders from Mars. You also see it in class and with any changes within society, protests and resistance, or as Terry Nation put it in the Daleks' first appearance on Doctor Who, Dislike of the Unlike, and Nancy Mitford's book entitled You and Non-You covers the same point. Whether we want to be in either state above doesn't matter, what we are does. If you are full of youthful enthusiasm, it is because you are now here and have much to explore. If you are depressed, it is because you are aware of where you are, too much, old age. Arrival anywhere leads us to see only the general good, the general potential. Acclimatization, being there long-term, leads us to start noticing all the minor faults. When somebody invades another space, it naturally causes resentment in the native population. This leads to rebellion or at the very least vandalism and the imposition of laws by the invader, in order to quell the activities of the underlings, in other words failure to conform to the wishes of the dominant force or accept annihilation. It may appear to be racism, sexism or some other form of intolerance, but in reality it is about class or Untermensch and Übermensch, that is the winners of the fight. Think about Standing Rock in this connection. Wisdom. You can't censor humor. If you do, you kill it, turn it into fear-filled diplomacy. What we love, we want to stay with and get as near to as possible. What we hate, we want to gel as far away from as possible, fear rather than understand or want to. Those who see life as a tragedy are afraid of letting go, letting everything fall to bits. Those go, letting everything fall to bits. Those who see life as a comedy, willingly let it go, are bored with all the effort of keeping things together. 2 takes courage to save life, none to destroy it. Adults want to know the truth, so that they can deal with it. Children hide behind illusions, 0 they don't have to face reality. Shuts his mouth. Wise man opens his eyes and shuts. A fool opens his mouth and shuts his eyes. Resentment is not being able to believe your bad luck. Bemusement is not being able to believe your good luck. Amusement is believing your bad luck, contentment thinking you deserved what you got. Hatred is believing your bad luck, discontent is thinking it's not fair on you. Good intentions are worn down by actual experience, Chinese water torture. You can either take your prejudices with you and leave or stay. There is an ancient and well-kept secret to happiness which the great ones have known for centuries. They rarely talk about it, but they use it all the time, and it is fundamental to good mental health. This secret is called the fine art of not being offended. In order to truly be a master of this art, one must be able to see that every statement, action and reaction of another human being is the sum result of their total life experience to date. In other words, the majority of people in our world say and do what they do from their own set of fears, conclusions, defenses and attempts to survive. Most of it, even when aimed directly at us, has nothing to do with us. Usually, it has more to do with all the other times, and in particular the first few times, that this person experienced a similar situation, usually when they were young. Yes, this is psychodynamic. But let's face it, we live in a world where psychodynamics are what make the world go around. An individual who wishes to live successfully in the world as a spiritual person really needs to understand that psychology is as spiritual as prayer. In fact, the word psychology literally means the study of the soul. All of that said, almost nothing is personal. Even with our closest loved ones, our beloved partners, our children and our friends. We are all swimming in the projections and filters of each other's life experiences, and often we are just the stand-ins, the chess pieces of life to which our loved ones have their own built-in reactions. This is not to dehumanize life or take away the intimacy from our relationships, but mainly for us to know that almost every time we get offended, we are actually just in a misunderstanding. A true embodiment of this idea actually allows for more intimacy and less suffering throughout all of our relationships. When we know that we are just the one who happens to be standing in the right place at the right psychodynamic time for someone to say or do what they are doing, we don't have to take life personally. If it weren't us, it would likely be someone else. This frees us to be a little more detached from the reactions of people around us. How often do we react to a statement of another by being offended rather than seeing that the other might actually be hurting? In fact, every time we get offended, it is actually an opportunity to extend kindness to one who may be suffering even if they themselves do not appear that way on the surface. All anger, all acting out, all harshness, all criticism, is in truth a form of suffering. When we provide no Velcro for it to stick, something changes in the world. We do not even have to say a thing. In fact, it is usually better not to say a thing. People who are suffering on the inside, but not showing it on the outside, are usually not keen on someone pointing out to them that they are suffering. We do not have to be our loved one's therapist. We need only understand the situation and move on. In the least, we ourselves experience less st to make the world a better place. No one told me the truth about sex before I had a lot of sex. Not the kind of truth that slides into schoolbooks or locker room take or gets whispered at sleepovers under half-drunk breath. I had to live it. I had to wake up in someone's bed with my soul scraped thin and my body pretending it didn't just memorize a stranger's breath like a love story. I had to learn that the body is an altar, and not everyone deserves to kneel at it. They say sex is just physical. But I've felt the aftershocks of a single night echo through my nervous system for months. I've stayed too long with men who weren't good for me, not because I didn't know better, but because my cells already believed we were one thing. Because oxytocin doesn't understand red flags. Because dopamine will make a prison feel like paradise. Because orgasm isn't just a climax, it's a binding contract written in chemistry and signed in vulnerability. I've watched people confuse intensity for intimacy. I've done it. Skin to skin before heart to heart. Bed before truth, and we think we're modern for that. We call it freedom, but what if it's just a different kind of enslavement? One where we give away pieces of our sovereignty in exchange for a moment of connection we didn't earn. What they don't tell you is this: sex rewires you. It maps your memory, it softens your instincts, it makes you stay when every part of your logic is screaming, run. And even if you tell yourself it doesn't matter, even if you say you're detached, your body still remembers. There is no such thing as casual when your nervous system is that involved. And we don't need to shame the wild. I'm not here to be shaming choices. I believe in sacred chaos. In lust that tastes like lightning. But let's stop pretending that we can fuck like animals and not feel like ghosts when it's over. Everything is temporary. The one thing that will change your life forever is accepting that everything is temporary. Happiness. Pain. Failure. Success. Your relationships. Your entire existence is temporary, and the fact that you can't be sure whether you will live another day is enough to show you that whatever it is you're stressing about, it will pass. Happiness and pain are both fleeting, sprinkled throughout the larger chapters that make up our entire lives. Lives that can pass with a blink of an eye. So, what's the point of comparison? Of wanting what other people have and feeling like a failure if you don't get it? What is the point of holding grudges and letting your ego direct your behavior, and letting your mind take hold of your relationships in a way that your heart wouldn't? Knowing that this exact moment will never come back should be enough to urge you to pick up the phone and make that call. It should be enough to make you realize that if you're in a difficult place right now, hurting, frustrated, upset over something that you don't have any control over, give yourself time. You won't be here forever. Neither in pain, nor in happiness. So, make the most of it. Forgive more easily, learn to push away the bad stuff, and accept growth in ways that benefit not just you but everyone around you. Let go of all the negative feelings and animosity and be kind. Be soft. Be gentle with other people. And remind yourself that if today was painful, if today was awful, if today was nothing like what you had hoped it would be, tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow will be better. Sometimes, we find ourselves exhausted from fighting for the love and affection of others. We invest so much of ourselves into seeking validation and acceptance that we forget to love ourselves. In the midst of our efforts to gain the affection of others, we unintentionally neglect our own well-being. But here's the truth: you deserve love and care, not just from others, but from yourself as well. It's time to shift your focus inward and relearn the art of loving yourself. Give yourself permission to take a break and recharge. Remember that your worth doesn't depend on someone else's validation or affection. You are inherently deserving of love, simply because you exist. Take a moment and reflect on what truly brings you joy and fulfillment. Rediscover the activities, hobbies, and moments that play with the strings of your heart. Prioritize your own needs and desires. Nurture your mind, body, and soul. Be gentle with yourself and practice self-compassion. Remember, self-love is not selfish or indulgent, it's a crucial part of a healthy and balanced life. When you love yourself, you radiate a sense of contentment and inner peace that attracts positive energy and genuine connections. By relearning how to love yourself, you create a solid foundation for building meaningful relationships with others. So, accept that feeling tired is okay. Use this moment of weariness as an opportunity to embark on a journey of self-discovery and self-care. Reconnect with yourself, your passions, and your own unique worth. Embrace self-love, and watch as it transforms your life from within, allowing you to experience the happiness and fulfillment you truly deserve. 20 sayings that are brutally scary, but absolutely true. 1. To become a better you, getting used to saying goodbye should become a thing. 2. You are what you do, not what you promise you'll do. 3. No one will realize your value until your absence is felt. 4. Don't fight for someone to love you, fight for someone who loves you. 5. Never think that the person of peace is not skilled at war. 6. Just a minute of anger, lust, or greed can destroy a lifetime of your hard work. 7. The closer you get, the tougher it will get. 8. Any lesson you refuse to learn will continue to find its way to you until you learn it. 9. Sometimes fighting a war with yourself is a must to become a better version of you. 10. The longer you sit on the wrong train, the more expensive will it become to return home. 11. Ships that wait for the perfect wind will never be able to set sail. 12. Fear will never stop death, it will only ruin what's left of your life. 13. You will never be able to heal in the same environment that got you sick in the first place. 15. Real wealth is having absolutely no health problems. 16. Save every stone thrown at you, you'll need each one to build your. 14. Nothing is worse than avoiding your full potential. 17. Nobody works harder than someone who dislikes asking another for own castle one day. Help. 18. Never be scared to start again because a new start can lead to a newer and better story with a different ending. 19. The truth will only set you free once it is finished with you. 20. Honesty will not let you have too many friends but will definitely let you have the right ones. When life feels heavy. When life feels heavy. At some point in life, everything around you might stop making sense. The job you once prayed for no longer excites you. The home you used to find comfort in starts to feel heavy. You'll feel disconnected from your purpose, unsure about your business, distant from your family, tired of trying to hold it all together. It'll feel like everything is breaking at the same time. And in that weight, you'll feel this aching need to fix yourself, to fix your life, to go back to the starting point and question if you even chose the right direction. Maybe you're already there. Maybe you're standing in the middle of the chaos right now, watching your relationships shake. Your finances shrink, your health shift, and wondering if any of it still makes sense. If that's where you are, I want you to pause. Just for a second. And remember how far you've already come. You've carried yourself through more than you give yourself credit for. You've survived days you thought would break you. You'll be okay. Attachment theory was meant to be a mere ent, not a jevel. A way to ourselves Charlie, not a tale to put someone she untried but in the heart of the internet. It has become both a flag rods and damutane avstant is the want, they must be emptierly unavailable incapable of love villain indulge and anxious attachment has been rocast as the right way to love because they chase instead of retreat se have convinced themselves this makes them incur more committed, more ind, more goad. They demand closeness, insist on resolution, refuse to let go. And because they stay, they believe they are better than the ones who leave. But what we vietators aren't the same wound wearing different fiam. Both are terrified of abandonment. One fights for connection, the other runs from it. One fears swing left, the other fears lading card act as tough. One is the villain and the other the vistas. Attachment when datas make you a better person. They make you a person in need of healing. Your mar of being too much is unmorally superior to sharaf being trapped. Your tendency in slaying is needed deeper love. Your pan does cast make you more deserving. We cannot weapon attach theory and call it MIT awareness. Healing is not about diagnosing the people who hurt us, it's about facing the parts of ourselves that keep choosing the same story and ar your angenslizning from utai clinging in love and running bard evil. They're both just wunda with logs swarthing for safety and worthy of healing.